Bihari Jayodada Madhava Kunja Bihari Om Agana Dimrandasya Gananjana Salagaya Saksadun Vinadam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Vishapasaya Bhutale Srivati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Saraswati Devi Auravani Bhattarine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Vasata Dasatharine Saraswati Devi Auravani Bhattarine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Vasata Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasari Gaurabhata Vrinda Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasari Gaurabhata Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Nayanam Ramasujan Ram Chaivan Rotamam Devim Sarastin Vasam Rodayam Adhirajam Makha Karoti Vatsalam Pangulan Rayatayam Yatkipata Mahatmane Sri Nirhainam Paramananmanam Sri Chaitanya Swami.
Maitreya Uvacha Rukvadyaste Munayo Yoganam Kshema Darshina Bhaktarasati Vaindrana Pashyanta Pashu Samyada. Translation and purport by Divine Grace Jayapataka Swami Maharaj. The great sage Maitreya continued, O great hero Vidura, the great sages headed by Bhrigu were always thinking of the welfare of the people in general. When they saw that in the absence of King Anga, there was no one to protect the interest of the people, they understood that without a ruler, the people would become independent and non-regulated. Purport. In this verse, the significant word is Kshema Darshinaha, which refers to those who are always looking after the welfare of the people in general. All the great sages headed by Bhrigu were always thinking of how to elevate all the people of the universe to the spiritual platform. Indeed, they advised the kings of every planet to rule the people with that ultimate goal of life in mind. The great sages used to advise the head of the state or the king, and he used to rule the populace in accordance with their instruction. After the disappearance of King Anga, there was no one to follow the instructions of the great sages. Consequently, all the citizens became unruly, so much so that they could be compared to animals. As described in Bhagavad Gita 4.13, human society must be divided into 4 orders according to quality and worth. In every society, there must be an intelligent class, administrative class, productive class, and worker class. In modern democracy, these scientific divisions are termed JPS Archvies, and by vote, Shudras or workers are chosen for administrative posts. Having no knowledge of the ultimate goal of life, such persons whimsically enact laws without knowledge of life's purpose. The result is that no one is happy. That's the number 4.1.1. The great sages then called the queen mother, Sunita, and with her permission, they installed Vena on the throne as master of the world. All the ministries, however, disagreed with this. Text number 3, translation and purport. It was already known that Vena was very severe and cruel. Therefore, as soon as all the thieves and rogues in the state heard of his ascendance to the royal throne, they became very much afraid of him. Indeed, they hid themselves here and there as rats hide themselves from snakes. Purport. When the government is very weak, rogues and thieves flourish. Similarly, when the government is very strong, all the thieves and rogues disappear or hide themselves. Of course, Vena was not a very good king, but he was known to be cruel and severe. Thus the state at least became freed from thieves and rogues.
Hari Om Tat Sat. So, the people had become like animals without any understanding of the purpose of life. So the great sages wanted to establish some king. They are thinking about the welfare. Of course, later we'll see what kind of king Vena was. But the idea of the great sages was to help the people. So now there's no visible great sages, and they're kings. There are no more kings. Or at least the kings are not in power. So the question is, and who thinks about the welfare of the people? You see, Prabhupada, he used to think about the welfare of the people. He thought, if people in the Western world, they're burning, and we need to help them. We need to give them Krishna consciousness. And then he saw, well, after he went to the West, he saw, well, people in India, they're following the West, and he need to help them. But I've been ordered by my guru to help the people in the West. Then he heard that deities in Los Angeles, Rukmini Dwarkanath, they told Prabhupada, please you go back to India and establish preaching there. So he had also established some centers in India. Now we have about 75, 80 centers all over India. and thousands of Namhats, counselor groups, Bhakti Diksha, Ashray groups, etc. So, the vision of Prabhupada was that he wanted to help the people. So, one time I thought, I should see my spiritual advancement. So I was chanting 32 rounds. I thought this was very pleasing to my guru. So I was in the temple in Calcutta. It was 10 o'clock. I was finishing my 32 rounds. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. So then Prabhupada, he asked, what are you doing? I said, I'm chanting 32 rounds. Why? If you chant 32 rounds, who is going to go out and save the people? Who is going to go out and preach? You should chant your 16 rounds and go out and preach. Haribol! So, Prabhupada gave us a priority that we should preach Krishna consciousness. And later I heard from Jayapataka Maharaj that Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, for his pujaris and those who live in the temple, there were 64 rounds. For those who went out and preached, 16 rounds. So, we often don't know that, but that was the standard. So, Prabhupada, he was thinking about the welfare of the people. So, we come here to the holy places in India. We come to Vrindavan, we come to Mayapur, come to Radhakund and Govardhan, etc. With the idea that we should charge our batteries, we should get some spiritual strength, inspiration, and go out and spread the message of Lord Chaitanya. Haribol. So, some people, of course, they live in these downs. And Prabhupada, he was very much concerned that our temple in Krishna temple, it should be a man with dedicated devotees. And he also said that we have to be careful. Here in Vrindavan, there's a danger of the caste Goswamis, Babajis. On one hand, we like to embrace everyone, but on the other hand, we need also to be careful because some of these people are not our well-wishers. So they always say, well, your sampradaya is not correct, this, that, come with us. I will give you the immediate Akadas Bhava and your Siddha Sarup will tell you. Well, we don't want to be told. We don't want, what's the use of someone telling, oh, you're a peacock, or you're a surly cow, or you're a goldie, or what's the use? We want to realize who we are. We don't want someone to tell us, you're this, you're that. How do you know? How do you know it is true? So, our Prophet gave us a system, work down, samadhi later. And we should get these realizations. And how we get that? By facing the Guru. So, how we face Prabhupada was he wanted to spread our Krishna consciousness all over the world. In fact, up to about 200 years, Lord Chaitanya's movement was spreading more and more, and it was expanding. It had covered Bengal, it was going all over India, And then somehow these Sahajas spread by incarnation of Sukra Acharya. He came and told, you don't have to do all this worship the Holy Dhamma, and you can immediately achieve your Siddha Sarup. So, like that, he treated the people and got them to stop preaching and just try to imitate being on some level. So that's called sahaja. So there's two sides of the coin. One side is the Mayavad, that we are trying to merge into light. Other side is the sahaja, that we think of very immediately a very great devotee, some Goti or some Saka or something, without going through the purification processes. So, either way, we are an illusion. We are like excessive or we're imperfect, incomplete realization. So, Prabhupada, he was also stressing how our deities are very sacred. And our temple is very much, this temple is the most holy place because we're doing the work of Lord Chaitanya. He also said that in Mayapur, he said there's a birthplace, where Krishna left his birthplace, Mathura, to come to Vrindavan. So there's a birthplace and there's our place. So our place is the karma sthan. Krishna said, Janma karma chanediyam. My birth and my activities are both sacred. So the birthplace is sacred, but more important is the workplace. This is the activity place. So this place is the place of his activities. So here we are giving people Krishna consciousness, we're giving people bhakti, we're giving people the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, and that's more important. So, last night I was blessed by visiting Ayendra Prabhu's room, and I was very impressed with one thing, especially how he was very much dedicated to the Krishna Mandir. He wanted to see that this temple, Prabhupada ordered that there should be 24-hour kirtan, so he was afraid if I leave all this kirtan go on. So for a long time he never left. And after some time he was convinced to go to Mayapur for the installation of the Panchatattva deities, and since then he came for about 5 days. Otherwise, whole year he would spend here. So that was the motive problem, that we should also dedicate. We should not listen outside for Shiksha. Of course, he wanted his devotees to visit Radhakund and all the holy temples, but not to take the Shiksha as such, but to take the Shiksha from our own devotees. So, and to raise here. So, excuse me. So this is very important. We should see how this temple is very sacred. And by chanting here, by giving people prasad, by giving the books, by getting them to chant Hare Krishna, we are actually doing the greatest service. And those who are visiting, we also should try to absorb the mood of Prabhupada and the mood of the great devotees here, and take the blessings of these deities, which are very gorgeously worshipped, and go around the world, go around India, wherever you're preaching, and preach the message of Lord Chaitanya. Hare Krishna. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. in this verse, Vrindavan was established because maybe the sages thought, well, a blind uncle is better than none. There should be some ruler. Give them a chance. Of course, later it turned out to be not a very good idea, but initially at least, all the rogues and thieves they hid. We traveled in the Middle East, and there they have rulers. Some country established more of a democratic rule, and immediately thieves and rogues came up because they knew that, well, there'd be all this judicial process or somehow they could escape by some intervention of the politicians. So it became unsafe for the expats in these countries. So as far as we're concerned, maybe a good king would be good. Unfortunately, even the kings like Amino, they don't know the purpose of life. Even the heads of state, they don't know the purpose of life. So we have the service to do to educate the masses what this purpose of life is. So this is a very important service, and very few people know that there is a purpose of life. In fact, even in India, I heard that from our young students, they say when they take up Krishna consciousness, when they start to chant, then others should say, you're going behind. There should be a progressive, follow the West, freedom of love, freedom of this, freedom of that. And unfortunately, they think that the goal of life is sense gratification. And they don't know that the goal of life is to serve Krishna, to engage in devotional service. So in this way, they waste the valuable human form of life. So we have a lot of work to do all over the world, even in India. Some parents tell me that, well, it's worse in India now in the colleges than in America, in the West. So I don't know, but they're saying that. So we have a lot to do all over the world, where people don't know, at least in the West, crowd called old crows and new crows. They're kind of fed up in the West. They see that their parents were happy, they're not happy, so they're looking for some alternative. But in India, there are new crows. They found a newfound wealth, newfound opportunities, so they think, oh, eat all the stool. Or the old crows, they're all a bit selective. That's not good, that's not good. But new crows, they eat everything, all the garbage. So, this is the problem we're facing. Now, other thing I wanted to say was how that Prabhupada, he was here, and I saw that he had always carried the Krishna Balaram picture. And one night, he was driving out to Mayapur, and he asked, who is stronger, Krishna or Balaram? So we were to say, well, Balaram expands all the universes and all the planets and everything. So all the incarnations come from Balaram. Balaram is strong. So maybe Balaram was the strongest. He's older brother, but he showed the picture. See, Balaram has his hand on Krishna's shoulder. Krishna is supporting Balaram, so he is the strongest. Hari Bol! Krishna Balaram ki! So, Prabhupada said, and I don't know, I think he said, but we find in different temples around India, ancient temples, they keep a book about the history of that temple. So, like what are the history of these deities? All the deities, I've been visiting different temples. I tell them, please record what happens to these deities, what they do, what pujaris experience, what different devotees, dreams they see. Somehow you should record, because these deities are special. They're the Archa Avatar. They're the incarnation of the Lord. And one thing I remember last night when I went to see Ayunna's room, they showed me the Satchi Sutta, Nitai Satchi Sutta deities. Then he was very upset that these deities were kept in a locked land without worshipping for about 5 days. So he took them up to his room and kept. And later that van rolled over and was destroyed. So I had a similar experience that we installed in the Dwarka, going to Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda deities, which went with the Padayatra all over India and ended up in Mayapur. But sometime these deities had run loose. The block cart ran loose, and the deities, the cart crashes on it. So I was a bit concerned. The deities had already gone 10,000 kilometers, and they'd gone around India, and then they were cracking. So we should keep them in mind. I'll give no deities to the Padayatra. So he kept the Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda deities in Mayapur. And I had the same concerns. So the deities, then we gave no deities to the Padayatra. Well, I'm sure that there are many pastimes of Krishna Balaram in the Gaura. I heard informally from some devotees how they felt the deities reciprocated with them, but I don't know if it's recorded. I know in Mayapur they do record the activities of Nrsimha, Rama, and the Lord Jagannath. Of course, Jagannath has many pastimes. One of the recent pastimes, there was one Muslim with a big beard. He came to Mayapur, and he came to the Jagannath temple, and they ordered him prasad, a Jagannath tongue. He took it and threw it. He said, "I don't eat the food of idols." And because in our temple, well, we don't restrict. And many Muslims come, and they give their jackfruit, they give mango, they give milk. They say they worship Jagannath, and they got a child, they got a cow, they got a tree giving fruit. So somehow they felt, but this one was unbelievable. So I said, well, if you don't believe, why do you come? So he walked out. Next day he came back. He was offering his prostrate obeisance. he begged the Prasad, please give me Prasad. What's wrong with you? Yesterday you threw it, so you're begging for it? What happened? So I said, well, last night, this one with the white face, he grabbed him in the neck. He said, you threw my brother's Prasad on the floor. I'm going to get you. And the lady with the yellow face, she said, get him, get him. And I was shaking. And one of the black faces, a big smile, he said, no, let him by. It's his first offense. So I would say it. Now I'll believe, I truly believe. Please give me Prasad. I'll do it until I get it. Haribo! Jayapataka Swami ki! So I'm sure there are lots of pastimes here also, but someone should record, someone should tell. Don't think you're being thought crazy. You can tell. I told this in America on a few channels that we should record because His Holiness Jayapataka Swami, he decided to leave his body at Gita Nagari for the similar reason that he thought these holy places established by Prabhupada should be also appreciated by devotees, that they are holy places. So we know that the temples of the Lord, they're like consulates, and these holy dhams are like embassies. They're like Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he said, it's like a supermarket, a big mall, many temples, many holy, and Namhat is like a little corner convenience store, and temple like a supermarket. So here in Vrindavan, this whole area is the kingdom of God. And the 6 Goswamis, they developed. Otherwise, before, people didn't know that this was a holy dham. Lord Chaitanya and his followers, they came and they glorified. Prabhupada established here the deities, Nitai Gaur and Krishna Balaram and Radhe Shyam, and he also left his transcendental pastime here. So I'm sure that these deities also have various pastimes, and I hope that somehow they're being recorded, because all these deities around the world, especially those established by Prabhupada, are very, very special. And even other deities are very special. So we should appreciate that there are also holy places. Recently, Chopadi sent out some picture where they showed how the Nindagar deities, when the puja was going on, they looked down at the puja, otherwise they're looking up. So they had a picture how the eyes and the posture of the deities changed. So these are interesting things. We should know that the deities are also alive. They're there. They accept our prayers, and we should not see them otherwise. We should see them as a living personality. Now we are so blunt that we can't see Krishna, but we can see the deities. So as we reciprocate, those deities also reciprocate with us. So, like the little children, one Raghunath Thakur, when he was 6 years old, he was quickly given the Upadayam by his father, and he was sent to worship the Ladu Gopal deity. So he didn't know the mantras. He just was told by his father, please ask the deity to accept the offering. I have to go, my disciple was dying. I had to help him to get back. So he left. And his son took the plate of boga, laddus, and gave to the deity. So he said, please accept this offering. And the deity didn't move. He started crying. Why are you crying? The deity asked, well, you're not accepting the offering. My father said, say this and you take the offering. If I eat the offering, you'll be happy. Yes, very happy. So the deity ate the offering. He came back every plate and gave to his mother. Mother said, where's the prasad? Oh, the deity ate. The deity ate. And this is going on every day. Later, when the father came back, she told the father, something's happening. He comes back with an empty plate. So the father said, well, I'll go and see. She didn't know whether it's a kid, maybe he eats all the laddus himself or what. But he came, the father was in the back of the hill. He heard the voice say, please accept these laddus. And the deity, no sound. He looked, the deity had come off the altar and was eating the laddu. And so then, when the father gasped, he knew someone was watching. He came, he took his position, but the laddu was half eaten. Since that time, the laddu offered to the Lord is half laddu, half eaten. Jai Raghunath Thakur ki. So if he have absolute faith in the deity also will reciprocate. It's because we don't expect the deity to reciprocate, and not. So, anyway, this verse tells us how the sages will be the well-wishers of society, and how Prabhupada, he was also the well-wisher, and he wanted his followers to help the whole human kind to be uplifted, and these holy places are for us to visit, especially those who come from the West. Some will live here, but most come and go. They should come, get the spiritual course of the Dham, and go and preach all over the world. Hari Bol. Thank you very much.
Maharaj, if something strange happens with us, and if we discuss with devotees who cannot believe that, in that case we become out of response. I'm asking that if something really unbelievable happened with us, should we discuss it or not?
I think you can talk to the head pujari of that temple or the temple president. If there's no one else to talk to, tell me.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. You were explaining how we should take the energy from the Holy Dham and then go back to wherever we come from and spread that energy to help more devotees come. So I was wondering, what is the best way to absorb that energy from the Holy Dham?
Well, yesterday the devotees on the Srimad, they were engaged in cleaning Radha doing service. I'll say convene here. Last night I told my Gopal Das they need help to keep the 24-hour kirtan going. So, if every service we do in the town, you get 1,000 times the benefit. So, one time Prabhupada came, and everybody had eaten too much, and they're all laying down. So Prabhupada said, well, you get 1,000 times whatever you do in Mayapur or Vrindavan. But what's 1,000 times zero? Zero. So then he said, go on Parikrama, chant Hare Krishna, and this way you'll get multiple benefits. So while you're here, don't take it as, oh, this is like come vacation, let's sit on the beach and observe the sun. Our mercy we get by doing seva, by hearing, by chanting, by worshiping, by serving, and that way we want to be actively engaged in service. Doing that will get the maximum benefit of being in the Dhamma. I hope because half of my face is paralyzed, so it's a bit difficult to speak. Can you understand what I'm saying? Yes. You see, those who are residents here, they have the special service to care for the visitors. You find in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that those who visited Vrindavan in those days, especially the resident devotees, like Bhagavatam, Swami and others, they give them some, like Bengalis use oil, mustard oil for massage, so they give them some oil, they give them some stuff that would help them. You know here that, like the South Indians, they take dahi. So, like that, help me. Maybe the Russians and Westerners, they can't take too much chili. So having prasad for them, they can take and may help them. So anyway, that service is there for the resident devotees to see that the visitors can easily stay sometime and be healthy and do some seva. And help them also what seva they can do. We were helped in Radhakund by some devotees, ISKCON devotees, that how we can clean the kunda. So, like that, if there's some service, please engage the devotees that are visiting, how they can clean the temple, how they can do some seva, so that while they're here, they'll get a special blessing of the. We know that in the Vaikuntha Lokas, there either Lakshmis are cleaning some, because they all want to get the blessing of the Lord. Govindam Adi Purusham Namaham Bhajami. Govindam Adi Purusham Namaham Bhajami. Govindam Adi Purusham Namaham Bhajami. Any ladies have a question?
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Guru Maharaj, you emphasized the preaching in our Krishna conscious life. Often I hear from Maharajas that hearing and chanting is topmost devotional service. So how can this be balanced in our case in life?
A question from the UK. So, of course, we chant 16 rounds of japa minimum. We also hear a regular class of Bhagavatam like in the evening Gita. So, hearing, chanting is a daily practice for those who live in the temple or visit the temple. In the Namhatas, they also listen to classes regularly. Also, now we have MP3 players and recorders, so it's easy to listen to kirtans, to classes. While you're in your traffic jam, it's not like while you're cooking, while you're doing activities. There's no excuse. Listen to some lecture. Listen to your Guru Maharaj, listen to Prabhupada, listen to someone, and this way use your time. Sometimes we hear that devotees say, well, I don't have time. I'm very busy cooking, I'm busy with the baby, I'm busy here, there. And some others say, you don't have much time. But Prabhupada said, while they're cooking, they can listen to lecture. So, like that, we can also somehow use our time for hearing and chanting. But we also want to give some time for preaching, because like Advaita Goswami, he was a Grihastha. He would have regularly classes at his house, reading the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and here at the end of the class, he distributed prasad. So like that, if you're a householder, use your house also for preaching. Don't just live in the house like some rat waiting for the snake of time to eat you up. Use your house as Krishna's house. Use it for preaching. That's where the bhakti rikshas are useful. That even if someone has a small plant, they can hold 10, 15 people, which is the maximum size of a bhakti riksha group. So like this, everybody can use their house. Somehow we should also want to see, like that way I heard a lecture, how although Gorkishore Prabhupada, some people thought, well, he's a Vajranandi, but that's not true. Actually, because he was illiterate, so he didn't feel very qualified to preach, but he wanted to see the whole world of Krishna consciousness. Therefore, although he had only 2 disciples, one was his divine grace, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, who was a great preacher and established preaching all over India, all over, and also in foreign countries. So, we should also want somehow to see how everybody takes up our Krishna consciousness. Hari Bol.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
And if you don't hear and chant, then you won't start to see the activities of material.
Raj, in spite of your
Last question.
in spite of your bad health, from where you get so much inspiration and enthusiasm to serve the mission of Lord Chaitanya?
When you hear about the life of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivinoda Swami, I joined him in 68, so I saw most of it. But in 67, I heard from my godbrother, a Brahmana, that he had also a stroke and he was paralyzed with a neck down, and the devotees had to fully take care of him. But his head was working, so that with the head he was preaching. He was giving them Krishna conscious instruction. So I see how much trouble he went to give us Krishna Bhakti. What did I do? It's very minimal. Prabhupada ki.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.